Welcome back to Brick System Brothers, guys. My name's Nathan Masters, and today I'm going to be looking at an original Lego set from 2005 and a little something I put together that was kind of inspired by it and also related to one of my main issues with the set. So let's check it out. So this is Lego set 10170 from 2005, like I mentioned. It actually retailed for $40, which seems a little high now, but it's actually going on the secondary market. This is retired, of course. Over $100 in most cases for a complete set. And I'm sure having the box doesn't hurt for that, but even with just these components, that's pretty pricey for a $40 set. What's helping that a lot is this is a train set, and those generally do pretty good on the secondhand market. The other thing is, this is actually a rare Trains expansion pack. Well, rare in today's terms. Back in the day, this was kind of common for LEGO to do, and now they don't, it seems like they don't do it as much. Almost every train set is either a standalone engine unit or more of an all-in-one, where you have the train engine and the the passenger carriages or cargo wagons and track, and so you get over $100 really fast just for some train stuff. And the focus on individual train cars has really dropped in recent years. So I think it would be really cool if LEGO did more of these again, even if they did another container car. But what got me into actually building my own version here of the red one was just originally wanted to have more of these on the layout, and picking up a second copy of this set, not really feasible. So decided to build my own, and I used this as just a base place to get started with the dimensioning and, you know, actual connection points, how you would get this to go on the track. But then the actual detailing on the side, I went a little bit into my own territory there for the design. Looking at these, actually, some of the reasons these are so hard to get multiples of, these yellow 1x2x2 panels in the old version without the supporting sidewalls, not very common. Definitely a piece that is in demand. The yellow ladder, a little more common, but still harder to find on occasion. Of course, getting the original stickers would be detrimental if you wanted to rebuild this from scratch. And those stickers apply to the car itself and to the cargo boxes. They also had their own stickers. And mine are getting a little worn out, unfortunately. I didn't apply these the straightest either, so this isn't a great example, but the stickers do bring a lot to the model. And another workaround solution that I had originally for my problem, remember, I wanted just to have more of this kind of train car on the tracks. And what I ended up doing was, the first thing I did before I built my second red one, I actually just built another one of these. And now, as you can see, we have a space in the middle here. I designed my own bridge unit, and so basically I just looked at this end of the car itself and kind of mirrored that about the center. You can see, like I was saying, these yellow walls with the support aren't too hard to find, but the older ones are definitely still in demand. So I ended up building this, and what I was saying with the stickers, how much those bring to the model, is evidenced by the lack of them on this center car. It just doesn't have the same feel to it, you know? So the way this hooks up is there's a Technic plate with that hole that goes over the Technic axle on each end, and that allows for that pivoting motion. Now we have, it's actually not even in the frame anymore, back this up a little bit, we have a 3-unit, wow, that's too far back, sorry guys. Okay, that's somewhat visible. Yeah, we have this 3-unit cargo container train, and this would actually be enhanced by putting on some of our stackers like that. Yeah, something like that. That's a no-no, you'll hit the bridge. So this is pretty cool. The other thing that I like about this is much closer to what you could actually see in real life. Pretty much every container train that I've seen will have increments of 3 or increments of 5 of these bridge cars. So the actual 1-2 alignment, I don't know if that's something that exists in other parts of the world, but here in the US, I'm pretty sure the only type of container cars that are on the tracks today are multiples of 3 or 5. So by getting this to a multiple of 3, already kind of increasing that realism, if that's what you're concerned about when you're building. Of course, having two is fine, but yeah, I do like adding this extra bridge unit in the middle here. So this is kind of sticking with the yellow theme and trying to add into that, but the reason I did end up building those red ones eventually is just because looking at the arrangement of some of these panels and just the way that it's constructed overall, running out of elements very quickly to copy what was here. And so that's when I started looking at maybe doing a different arrangement for this side panel. And when I started looking at doing a different arrangement in yellow, I just went ahead and took the extra step and did the other arrangement in red. So doing a bit more of a direct comparison here, I've got the end cars from both color versions, my red one on top and the official yellow Lego one on the bottom. And the footprint has got to be the same because you have these standard containers. So these are running at 4x16, I believe. That's the long one, and then you can also have two shorter ones that are 4x8. So this inner footprint here has to be the same if you want to use the standard containers. And we could have an argument about, well, are these really to Lego scale? If you're going to minifigure scale, these aren't quite right. But this is what Lego has provided, so I'm trying to stick with that. So that inner footprint is going to be pretty close. And then the other thing that I wanted to keep pretty close was the actual distance between where we're putting the train bogies. Because if you start getting that too far apart, it's going to be really hanging over the edge on these tight Lego rail curves. If you go closer together, you don't have the room that you need to get the turning built in and still have this footprint in here. So kind of the optimized one is already here in Lego as an example. I just needed to copy that distance, and then I ended up doing a little bit of my own design for some of the other aspects of the car. So I did talk about having this different side paneling. We'll just tip both of them up. And really what that came down to was this 1x2x2 panel. I didn't have a lot of these in any color really, except for some glass ones, and don't want to use that for container cars. And so I ended up using these shorter ones that are more of a car element almost, like you put these on the inside of cars to give the minifig arms room to sit down inside there, especially for 4 wide cars. This really helps. And so I ended up just stacking 2 of these, and I ended up with a little bit of a different look, but I actually like this look as well. It does have an industrial feel similar to this. It's just more of a broken up panel on the side of the car. It's a little more substantial too. And then for the ladder kind of grooves there, not really a necessary inclusion, but I did want to emulate this design where I could, and so I ended up using the 1x2 grill tiles to emulate that ladder design instead of just using the provided Lego ladder element. Now under our bogies, we have very similar construction here. When I built this, I did not have enough of these stepped plates to use both. I think I should have used both because it's a little more stable, like we see here 1, 2. I only used one in my design, but I left it to the point where I could put another one in when I had it, and I do have those now, so I think I'll rebuild it at some point. But just for the support, that helps a lot. On the other side, I'll pop this out without breaking it, maybe? No, not quite. This 2x6 Technic plate is the only thing that would go in here, and that just gives you, you need this Technic connection to be able to pivot your train bogie underneath that support plate. Another little thing here with the steering wheel, I just added my own slightly different modified version and added some slopes as well to help with that. So that's a quick look at my custom design for the container cars railroad expansion pack kind of deal. And like I said, I would like to see Lego do more of these, especially in our railroad theme. It's just such a useful set type to have where if you really want to add in this kind of set in your layout, you wouldn't have to buy the full train set. You just buy multiples of the container car. And kind of my solution to that at current, where we don't have this set available, is, build your own. It's Lego. That's kind of what you do. Working around some of those issues with piece availability and color availability, ending up just going my own route with both and doing a slightly different design for the sides. If you are going to do this, just remember you need to keep this original footprint and think about keeping the spacing about the same. Just so that you don't run into issues with that on your own model, stability wise and function wise. And one thing to keep in mind, I don't have the curves, or I would show this, but the Lego curves are actually pretty tight radius, and the way that these work is when they go around a curve, this part is actually going to be hanging onto the inside. So don't build anything really close to the inside edge of your track curves, or these will be hitting it. It's just the way that these work on the tracks. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed a look at this Lego design of mine. Not really considering this a review of the official Lego set. I would actually talk about how that works more in the system and related to the tracks and stuff. So I might do that at some point, but this is just more of a comparison to one of my mocks. I actually did this one a couple years ago, and it's been part of our other looking like at our running the trains video and that kind of thing. I just haven't really talked about it specifically, so I wanted to cover that for you guys today. And thanks for dropping by, Brick System Brothers. We'll see you around the channel.